All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Backlog Banter. My name is Tucker Hazel, and I am joined, of course, today by Abram Buhner, the stinky, smelly, fantastic one, Abram Buhner, fresh off the gym. But today we're here to do BLB once again. You know, who cares? We're nothing if not inconsistent. Of course, that's the phrase here at Backlog Banter. But if you want to join us on our BLB journey, you can join our Discord link in the top description. But let's be honest. If you're watching this show, you're already in the Discord, so I don't even know who we're selling this product to.
Well, here's what's interesting, Tucker. This show actually does quite well, or it used to. Because, like, if this show gets 30 views,
Yeah,
that's more than we have active Discord members.
that's a great point. That's a
Like,
great
there is
point.
somebody out there, and let's put it this way. If you are watching BLB and you're not already in the Discord, then you should be, because then, like, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel.
Especially because, and if you're not aware of this, I don't know who you are, what you're smoking. But we have a segment at the end of this episode, at the end of every BLB episode, where we read BLB submissions from the community. We talk about the games that they have been playing. But Abram, it's been a minute. You know,
Yeah.
we can talk a little bit about my atmosphere with gaming and such right now. But you have stayed consistent. You are nothing if. What have you been playing? You want to throw a game my way?
Well, so here's the situation. This is kind of hard because the last BLB video was in it was in
January.
It was in January because it's when I would just come back to school and I
It
was
was on
playing
the eve of Legends Arceus.
Yes, and that's what's important because Legends Arceus comes out, and then Elden Ring comes out, and between those games, we're basically playing nothing else.
Yeah.
And then
Kirby.
you meet Kirby. You meet the lovely Rachel.
Yes.
I everyone's busy with shit, right?
Yeah.
BLB goes on the back burner.
Oscars happen.
We're watching like fucking 900 million movies a month in a week in a day. You know, the point is we got sidetracked. So I was thinking back, I was like, shit, what have I played between January and as of right now, the 8th of April that I want to talk about? And so there's a couple things I want to give flybys to if you'll oblige me.
Sure, yeah.
I don't really know how we're going to do this, but I'm just going to give a couple flybys.
Iowa, Ohio, Indiana, flyby states, you know?
That's a great joke. So I'm going to quickly shout out two games I played a long time ago and then dropped, but I'm going to come back to at some point. The first one's Kirby's Epic Yarn. The only reason I dropped this is because if it's hard for me to find time to play games, it's doubly hard to find time to play games with my girlfriend Jean.
Yeah.
Because she actually goes to school for real subjects that aren't film, so she has to do real work.
Yep.
So we played the first couple worlds together, and then she got busy, and we haven't gotten back to it. I would probably finish it by myself, but I think the experience is way better in co-op, especially with somebody who's less familiar with games, because then we can take our time. Because if I'm playing by myself, my eyes are going to go like this, and I'm just going to run through the stages.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's a shame.
As with most Kirby games.
Yes. I think that's a shame because Epic Yarn I think is really great. I love the aesthetic. I love the ambiance. I think it's like a fun return to Kirby Dreamland in terms of stripping away copy abilities, but bringing a little bit of Yoshi's Island there with the transformations. Good game. Good game.
Yeah, good game.
Another one I want to shout out quickly is Sifu. Sifu fucking rocks. I played.
Oh shit,
Sifu.
we never got a chance to talk about fucking Sifu on BLB.
No.
Well, that's a we never talk about Elden Ring on this channel.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so Sifu is a cool game. I like it a lot.
I was only on the Sifu diet for like a day.
I was actually not on the Sifu diet much longer than that. It was a couple days.
Yeah.
I think the sense of style is really cool. I think the gameplay is really fluid. It's the type of game I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I had fun, I made it to the museum in a couple days, and I had fun grinding down my age time so I could have more lives to get into those later stages. But it's this sort of thing of I don't really want to dedicate myself to Sifu. So yeah. I am to this day waiting on that difficulty patch they said was going to come.
Did it not?
So I don't know. It didn't. That's not the last time I've checked. Because
I thought that it dropped. Continue talking about Sifu. Let me double check.
Yeah, you double check it. But I would love to go through and finish that game because frankly, it's probably one of my favorite PlayStation 5 exclusives. But I just was I just don't know if I have the patience or the time for this right now.
Okay, so, no. It doesn't have it yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. But I will return to that game at that juncture.
Oh, I think did Returnal add something?
Returnal added
the saving thing fucking half a year ago, but they added all mixed up.
No, you're right. They added this thing called Tower of Sisyphus, and Tower of Sisyphus is fucking awesome. What it is essentially is it's a traditional housemarque game. It is score based. It's endless.
Wait, this has nothing to do with difficulty modes, though.
No.
Okay.
No, but there was a piece of content added to Returnal called Tower of Sisyphus. It brings co-op. It also brings this endless score-based mode.
Yeah, all PlayStation
Yeah.
stuff is just exists in a bubble in my mind. If it's not
Yes.
Elden Ring, I don't care about it.
They've actually been PlayStation's been doing a good job of bringing like expansions to their games. You
Sure,
know,
yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima and things, and now the Eternal one really is fucking awesome. But I have had no place to rant about this anywhere.
Yeah, let's just get out of the way.
So here's the situation. Horizon Forbidden West comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to trying it because, as we said at some juncture, that I think I was not crazy about Zero Dawn, but I was excited to try Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Download your copy.
Yep.
Crash.
God damn.
I literally can't play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else on my PS5 was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go back to Returnal to play this awesome score-based mode, and I'm playing it for maybe 10 minutes. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. This could be literally one of my favorite gameplay-driven experiences on PlayStation 5. Crash. Rebuilt my database, reset my PS5, factory reset it.
Wow.
Nothing's working, so I'm gonna have to send it in. Fuck you, Sony. I don't know why it's only these two games, but
yeah, that's very frustrating because both of those games, I have not gotten a chance to try Forbidden West myself. That's not true. I've had chances to try Forbidden West, but I have not gotten around to trying Forbidden West, even though I spent $65 on it at launch because Elden Ring came out and I fucking ate that game's lunch. But it's certainly one I'd like to get to, and I think it'd be really interesting too when I'm getting into it. If you have a functioning PlayStation 5, I'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on it as well because it does seem like a game that is the first one, but fixed up, polished, more gameplay. So I definitely want to try it. I would love to hear your thoughts too, but that's like a summer project.
That's a summer project. I think those are the only games I wanted to shout out.
Those are only the flyby states?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how many games you have total. I just have a smattering from last week. I probably played, other than Elden Ring and like the Call of Duty games that I've reviewed, I've played 3 games that I'm going to talk about today.
Okay.
And each of them I probably spent less than an hour on. So that's going to be my experience today.
I'm going to
start with one of them, or do you want to
I have 4. I'm going to say I have 4.
Okay, then you go one more.
Okay, I'm going to go this. So a couple of these are replays, actually. I want to talk about Ikaruga for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a period of time post Kirby, pre Star Wars, where I'm like, I just have a couple of days, so I need to fill those days.
Yeah, I know that feeling. That's what got me to play Cut and Toad Treasure Tracker before Legends Arceus.
Great game. And so I want to play Ikaruga, but for people who aren't familiar, it is a vertical arcade game. So if you play it with the regular orientation of your TV or your Switch, basically about like this much of your frame is actual game.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just blank space. So what I did, Tucker Hazel, and I posted this on Twitter, is I took this monitor here and flipped it on its end and leaned it against my defunct PS5 as a stand.
Oh.
And did that.
That's the only good thing. The only good thing a PS5 is good for.
Yes, holding up a monitor to play a 20-year-old GameCube. Well, actually, it was Dreamcast supported a GameCube game, but I really think Ikaruga, for my tastes, it's one of the best games in the history of games.
Wow!
Because Ikaruga to me is just about perfect for a number of reasons. First of all, it's incredibly fucking short. I beat Ikaruga 3 times in about an hour and a half. It's a quick game, but it is so skill-based, and there's so much to learn and notice about the mechanics on each replay. As you begin to understand the boss patterns, and you begin to move as though you're Neo in the Matrix, there's fucking bullets everywhere, and you're just kind of zipping and doo-dying around. It's incredibly satisfying to feel yourself gain that mechanical progression. And because the game is so short, it's really easy to finish a run, think back, okay, it was chapter 3, it's this boss that I fucked up on. I remember, I noticed when I died, this is what I should have done.
Yeah.
Get back there and learn. It's a really great, empowering feeling, and that soundtrack just fucking shakes my ass. It's the perfect convergence of mechanics-focused gameplay, really interesting presentation, and horse shit treasure storytelling, like in Sin and Punishment. Mm-hmm. So I think Ikaruga is really special. If people haven't played it, I've talked about it before, but it's on all modern systems now. So
yeah, it's definitely one I want to get to in terms of shmups, which is not a genre I'm particularly experienced with. Yeah. But Ikaruga is probably the one I would want to play most. Yeah. But I don't have something that I could turn on the side of my mirror. I could get that TV, but that thing's kind of weird. I guess I could put it on my big TV downstairs, and that would probably be enough like visual room for me to comprehend the bullshit going on the screen.
You can also do this.
I'll figure it out.
You can play Tate mode with just your Switch in tabletop mode. So obviously the screen is smaller, but it uses all of the real estate pretty much.
Yeah.
So I mean I think that's just as good.
Yeah, I'll give it a dabble. But also I said that like 9 months ago when you were here and telling me to play it, and that didn't happen. So
remember when John Cartwright tweeted, "Hey, Radiant Silvergun is free," and then we both made a big scene of saying that we were going to play it first, and neither of us ever played it.
nope.
I actually would like to. It's still on my Xbox.
When was that? That was early. That was January or something like that, or.
Yeah, I was still at home, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, the reason I think about that is because I think that would have been the last game I had played on my Xbox, but I have not turned on my Xbox in like 3 months.
Actually, most of the games I'm going to talk about today are on Xbox.
Well, okay, no one cares. All right, let's hop over to something else that no one cares about, which is my first game of the day, and my first, and that is not in the series that the other ones will be that I'm talking about. Let's set the stage. Quiet. Everyone places. Stage is set. Curtains drawn. Curtains open. I went on a $50 rampage, all right? The Nintendo 3DS eShop is dying. It is dead. Yeah. Nintendo hates us. They are shooting children in the streets. Fucking pandemonium. But I've got $50 to my name.
Pandemonium?
I got $50 to my name, and I'm like, you know what? I want all... I own more than $50. But I'd like $50 worth of my spendable cash to go towards the 3DS eShop and picking up a couple games that I would like to play, but that will become essentially entirely inaccessible at a certain point in the future. So I bought like 12 games, so I've got a bunch to work my way through. But I decided to give one a try that I'd actually never heard of before I was doing a little research about 3DS eShop and DSiWare exclusive games that I wanted to prioritize. And this is a Nintendo game that I had never heard of before called Aura Aura Climber. Yeah. Are you familiar with Aura Aura Climber?
Only because I watched the John Cartwright Good Vibes Gaming video.
Yeah, and that's where I discovered it as well.
Yeah.
Literally friend of the show, John Cartwright.
Yes.
So Aura Aura Climber is a high score based grapple game. You play as a little ball of light and you're trying to reach to the sky, and you press A and he jumps a little bit, and you press A again and he grapples onto one of the pegs peggle pegs in the sky, and then you just keep doing that up to the top. And yeah, this game is worth like $2.50. I don't think it's bad, but it's certainly like, hey, small digital games are a thing now. Let's try the most basic gameplay concept possible. And there's just really not anything particularly remarkable about it. I'm actually kind of surprised how bare bones the presentation and tone and stuff of the game are, because even with Nintendo in their smallest and lowest projects, you usually have some sort of wackiness to it, but you're just a little ball of light and there's like blue circles floating in the sky, and the background is just the planet. Like you start in a forest, you go to the clouds, you go to the space, like nothing particularly creative about it. Yeah.
You get to play as he looks like he reminds me of the Raisinette Man. He looks like the son that would dry up the Raisinette Man.
Sure, that's a great point.
That's how I would describe him. This game looks looks silly.
I would honestly, that's funny, because I would want it to be silly. I would want it to have some sort of dumb horseshit story at the beginning with a funny little cutscene with your guy chirping. I want there to be some larger dumb context for this, but it really is just menu, play the levels, or go for high score like endless mode, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. DSiWare is just weird in general because there, first of all, was not that much compelling software on there, in my opinion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had a singular focus as a child of having a DSi, mm-hmm. and I just wore my parents down. They got me one for Christmas, and I loved it. And I played some downloadable stuff, but there's the upper echelon of DSiWare software, and then a bunch of fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot less hidden gems on there, but there are a couple that from John's video, like that one from the precursor to Star Fox. What's it called?
I don't remember it specifically,
but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a couple I'm gonna pick up. When that store closure is a little bit more imminent, I'm gonna do a similar thing to you.
Yeah. I think the reason I was excited to get it in the first place, and I'm not mad that I spent like $5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Is that it was a Nintendo game that I had never heard of before.
Sure.
And honestly, when you're talking about DSiWare, not franchise, but a platform of games that I have no or I had access to but no experience with, and I know, okay, they've got a WarioWare game, they've got the pre-Star Fox thing. Like, there's not that much from Nintendo, frankly, on DSiWare, and this is one of them, and it's from an in-house Nintendo team. And I'm like, maybe this is the hidden gem that we're looking for on DSiWare, and I download it. I'm like, like this. It's fine for what it is, but it's just really not compelling in the slightest.
Yeah, I think Dr. Mario Express.
I also got both downloadable Dr. Mario games, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get Dr. Luigi on my Wii U as well. So,
by the way, WarioWare Snap sucks. So
I bought that. So
I'm very curious to hear what you think of that. I remember that one came preloaded on my DSi. Should play Photo Dojo.
I didn't. I'm not buying Photo
Dojo. Okay, my next game, another replay. Then we get into the new stuff. I replayed A Short Hike.
Oh.
For a secret function that I can't reveal yet. But
moving. I'm not gonna say up, but we're moving.
So I replayed A Short Hike. I really think A Short Hike is wonderful. I think I which is no surprise to you. You love A Short Hike.
I do.
You speed ran it for a while. You were really getting into it. This was my first time replaying the game, my second completion of it.
Okay, sure.
And I think I just appreciated it a lot more this time around. The sort of self-contained nature of it. The fact that when I sat down, I just didn't want to stop playing until I got to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And what was fun this time is that there are so many golden feathers, because if people aren't familiar, the entire conceit of the game is you're a little bird named Claire, and you're trying to get to the top of a mountain. And
to find cell phone service, by the way.
Yes, to make a phone call. And the crux of the gameplay is doing little tasks for the people of the island to get golden feathers. And these feathers allow you to climb and fly further, so you can actually reach the top. You need 7. I didn't go for nearly all of them the first time around. So on my second playthrough, I was actively going away from the feathers I got in the first time and seeing more of the game. And I think I was just so impressed by the density of the design here.
Absolutely.
Because the game is it feels quite sprawling, even though it's a 45-minute, hour-long experience. Mm-hmm. Just getting in there and becoming refamiliarized with these irreverent characters and doing different things like some of the race quests and everything. It's just so charming. And I think I think this is a timeless and a tentpole indie title. So I was just really, really pleased to revisit it.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that I've found myself revisiting more so than I would say almost any game. I mean, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Minecraft aside, like this real staples across my life things. Like this game I played about 2 years ago at this point, and I have since, whenever I set up my Switch and I've got a group of friends around or someone new is around and they're looking through the just absolutely horseshit amount of games that I have on my Switch, and they're like, which ones have you been playing recently? Like, which ones do you recommend for new people? They're just like asking questions. There's a lot of stuff they never heard of, and I always gravitate towards A Short Hike because I'm never going to delete it from my Switch. It's very tiny, and it's a game that I do find myself engaged enough to want to replay, which is very uncommon for games. And it's a game that I think you can learn a lot about, but not because it's hiding anything from you. Not because there's necessarily like extreme tech or a lot of secrets or anything, but because if you are just playing the game, the like main pathing it, there's a lot that you're not going to see, and there's a lot that you can access very easily. Yeah. You just need to change your mindset to, I'm just going to walk off this cliff or go around this corner and see what's over there. It's not going to really net me anything incredible. Like there's not huge upgrades or anything to unlock, but you're going to enjoy the scale of everything. Is you are a small bird, it's a relatively small island, and one golden feather will open up a ton of opportunities for you, even if it's just one. And when you go to any little area that's got a little building or a rock, there's coins scattered around, there's NPCs smattered pretty evenly across the map, there's secrets to find, there's items to pick up that allow you to interact with things differently, and it just completely changes the way you like contextualize this kind of open world. Like, you're not looking to tick off boxes, you're just looking to find out what's going to happen. And then reach the top, and 100% completion will take you under 2 hours, but it'll be incredibly satisfying because it's visually appealing, and the soundtrack is phenomenal, and the characters are written so incredibly charming, and there is a surprising amount to find. Like, did you end up going, getting different kinds of fish? Did you go find the boat? Like, what kind of things did you explore and find?
Yeah, I spent more time on the boat I so the,
The
I
boat
heard
is so
too,
much fun.
the boat is so much fun, and I love like the thunk noise it makes when it runs into stuff.
Hmm.
So I went in the boat for a while, but I just explored further out. Like I was staying in pretty contained close to that main path up to the top.
Yeah,
Like I went way out to like the graveyard and out
yeah.
to the buildings out on that side because I did the quest. There's this guy who's painting and he's trying to get his paintings in an exhibition. And he's like, no, this isn't good enough. So he keeps moving around the island looking for a new spot of inspiration, and that really took me further into the map than I had before. So it was just quests like that that took me from like this much of the map to like this much of the map. But then I also came back to fun things like beach stick ball.
Yeah.
And how they're just like sometimes we're just going to give you points. They're like, does the serve count? And you can just say yes. Like, okay, the serve counts now. Like it's just they're just kids playing, and it captures that sort of like whimsical feeling so well. If only I had friends as a child, I would be able to relate to it better.
It's a great point. It's a great point. I guess that leaves it to me again, to something else that should be whimsical. Kirby's Dreamland for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Which is the first Kirby game. I played Kirby's Adventure on one of the first episodes of BLB way the fuck back in the day, like episode 8 or 9 or something like that. And after playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land, card in the corner if I remember to put that up there, or just fucking look it up. You know how to use Google. I was reinterested in Kirby as a series again, and having played Forgotten Land, being interested in more succinctly being able to explain why I thought the franchise hadn't worked until this point, and where I felt that Forgotten Land changed the formula to where I was very engaged by it. So, of course, I decided to 180 and go from the largest scope, most complex Kirby game to the most simple, basic Kirby game. And what I found in Kirby Streamland is probably one of the most technically impressive and ambitious Game Boy games I've ever played. Not from a scope standpoint, because this game is 4 levels long, but from just running very well and having surprisingly detailed backgrounds and great sprite animation, all this stuff. Very fun visual game for the Game Boy. I believe it was a late Game Boy game, but it's on par with NES games, which is just very impressive for the technology. But otherwise, I was very confused by Kirby Streamland because Kirby as a character, as a franchise, at least in my experience, I think that you can get just about as much enjoyment from like watching a GIF of Kirby go across the screen, or like watching a video of a playthrough than playing it, because for me the gameplay is not particularly engaging, and I do think that this is the worst offender of that, because it is the most bare bones, which of course I don't hold against this game. It was the one that spawned the franchise. It has a lot more of the characters and world elements and charm that you expect from the other ones, but there are no copy abilities in this, which nixes any possible experimentation. There are no secrets. There's a harder mode that you unlock once you beat the game, but I'm pretty sure you can access it. You can access it if you know like the code on the home screen before you beat it. But yeah, I really don't think that Kirby Streamland is a very good game. It's an impressive game, but I really don't find much to be engaging about it. But I also recognize that it's the first one, so like it's a little bit of a pros and cons game in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Dreamland in a long time. It is, I think, today largely a nothing game.
Yeah.
I think what's useful about it is what's most obvious, in that it gave us Kirby, and that it gave us a lot of the touchstones. Whiskey Woods gives us DDD, right? There's the game establishes a lot of the iconography of Kirby. Yeah. But I really think the franchise starts with adventure.
Yes.
So it's a curiosity, and I think it's like $3 in the eShop, 3DS eShop. So I think it's worth a playthrough, but it is by no means anything more than a curiosity in terms of, do you want to know where Kirby began?
Exactly.
This is where he began.
Yeah, and of course, I'm me, and that's the kind of horse shit that I just do in my free time. So I wasn't expecting a lot going into this. Frankly, I got exactly what I expected. And I think that actually the brevity of it kind of made me happy, because I'm like, wait, now I've beaten Kirby's Dreamland. I've seen everything there is to see. I don't need to ever play this game again. I beat it in like 28 minutes. So and that's it. Like that's all the game has to offer, which is good, because I I think the game would have certainly outstayed its welcome if it was twice its length, because there's not a lot to the gameplay, and the levels, even how few they are, start to feel a little bit repetitive. So it's like, ooh, okay, I'm glad it got out of here, because I don't really know how much more of this I would have been able to take.
Sure.
So that's certainly a positive, but also it means that, like, you're right. It's really no more than curiosity. If you're interested in the Kirby franchise, give it a try. Don't expect almost anything from it. Just know that you go to any other game in the series, you're gonna get more visual variety, more creative ideas, more interesting enemies. Like, this is kind of just the bare bones.
I have 2 more games.
I have one.
And that works out
Fucking
perfect. So the next game I played, Tucker, is a Memoir Blue, which is a new Annapurna game. I played it on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, I think that's the best way to play it, because it's about a 45-minute to hour-long experience. So I think it's probably a tough sell at whatever price point they're asking at. So
sure.
Maybe a $15 or $20 game, given
for most people.
Prices.
I'm just saying, for a 45-minute game, I'm perfectly comfortable paying $15.
Yeah, I am too, because I think this feels complete. But it's definitely something to know going in. It
Absolutely.
is very, very short. Essentially, what this game is it's. Well, let's start with the concept, because I struggle to categorize the gameplay, because there really is very little gameplay. It's, as the title would suggest, it's a memoir. It follows. We begin on this woman winning what you assume is an Olympic medal in swimming, and as you press A, you're basically a paparazzi taking photos, and she winces every time you take a photo, and like she keeps wincing. You keep taking photos. The screen cuts, and you wake up in her apartment. And what begins is this sort of surrealist adventure through this girl's life, going back to her childhood as a young girl and working her way towards adulthood, as you learn about the sort of broken home she comes from, learn about the sort of tenuous relationship she has with her mother.
Sure.
You learn about the ways that her skill in swimming and her love of the ocean is both sort of what keeps her going, but it also ends up becoming sort of a problem in her life. It kind of brings back these familial issues and things. So it's basically about walking this line between a reverence for the water and for swimming and the price of maybe being too successful in it, with all these other background family elements contextualized. I think the narrative is very interesting. And I think why I found the game to be quite compelling is that it's basically told entirely through visuals. There's very little. There's some songs, and I think the songs are quite beautiful, but this is not a dialogue-driven experience.
Okay, yeah.
It's about the visuals as you recount this woman's life. But it really is about the visuals and the audio, because on a gameplay level, it is as simple as click on the thing.
Yeah, of course.
It's not even really a point-and-click game, because it's not about trying to solve a puzzle, really. It's about, for instance, we're going on a boat, right?
All right.
Before we go on the boat, we have to stamp our tickets. So you literally just pick up the ticket, put it under the thing, click A on the stamper, stamps, move to the next screen. Sometimes the interaction changes a little bit, like it goes top down and you actually control the boat for a moment. But for the most part, while the mode of interaction changes sometimes, it really is not about the gameplay at all.
Of course, yeah.
What it feels more like is just an experiment in narrative design. And to that effect, I think that it's a beautiful and perfectly length experience.
Sure, yeah.
And one that by the end had me feeling emotional, because while it is a hyper-specific narrative, it's a sort of narrative that resonates so personally that you can extract something from it.
Okay.
The storyline feels very genuine.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I played it one night after class, beat it in about an hour, closed the book on Memoir Blue. I don't think that it reaches the heights of other Annapurna games like Sayonara Wild Hearts, for instance, because I think that interactivity is so backgrounded that there's no real harmony there. Whereas I think something like Sayonara is way more deliberate about how it uses its gamified elements. But nonetheless, I think the experience of a Memoir Blue is remarkable enough, and the time commitment is small enough where I think that, especially if you have Game Pass, you should just boot it up and play it one afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something that intrigues me, not only because I enjoy short games, but because even if I don't love, that's not true. There's certain experiences like this that I am a huge fan of and are among my favorite games of all time. But I don't really inherently seek out like visual novel type things or point and click adventures or text based adventures, stuff like that, which of course are slightly different than this, but ones that are less focused on gameplay because
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder to nail that. However, I am certainly someone who appreciates attempts to do something different with what can be considered a video game. And of
Yeah.
course, this is a debate that many people can have many different opinions on. But I come down to the fact that interactivity in any level is what makes a video game a video game. It's what makes
Sure.
it not a movie. It's what makes it not a TV show. It's what makes it more engrossing than a painting or just music on its own, at least in my opinion. So having a game that tells story through visuals and very simplistic gameplay, like Florence, which is one of my favorite games of all time, or I would say Unpacking, but Unpacking does a little bit more with its interactivity. I'm going to give this game a try, and I'm sure I will enjoy it to a certain degree. You know, we'll see how much the story resonates with me. But I would implore people to give this kind of game a try. Again, I haven't played this game, so I don't even know if it's good. But this kind of game a try just to spice up your video game playing diet, and broaden your horizons to what the definition of a video game can be, and
Sure.
learn something about interactivity and game design and what engages a player from a storytelling point of view or an interactivity point of view. I'll probably come back next time we do BLB with the Memoir Blue impressions.
Whatever.
But I want you to be excited for that. Okay, all right. We talked about Kirby's first 2D game. Let's talk about its first 3D game.
Air Ride.
Nope. Let's talk about his first 3D game. Let me give that a couple air quotes, because of course, one of my DS download titles that I got was Kirby's BLB Blast, which is not the first time that we've talked about this game, because you gave your thoughts on it quite a bit ago, which I actually will probably go back and listen to you talk about that. Kirby's BLB Blast is an expansion on one of the Kirby minigames, I believe, from Robobot, so I don't have any experience with the initial quote-unquote version of this game, or at least where the idea crystallized. And it's very interesting because quite a bit like Aurora Climber, it feels like, hey, we need a game to put out. Downloadable games are a thing. We can make it cheap. We can make it cheap. Like that.
It's an $8 game.
Kirby's BLB Blast is a cheap game.
Yeah.
It reuses assets from Robobot. It has the one idea of Kirby can suck in a lot of enemies and shoot them out, and if you destroy an enemy, you get points, and then you can complete the level. And this game, outside of that, is nothing. It is nothing. It doesn't even have an opening Kirby cutscene of the fucking universe getting sucked into a black hole or whatever. You just you spawn on a platform, and you go in a door, and then you play the world, which is floating blocks, and with no particular visual charm. Then you fight a boss at the end of the 5 or 6 levels per world or stage or whatever. I don't remember what the denomination, like sections are called, but it's like 20 levels total. It took me 45 minutes to finish, and I really don't think this is a very good game, which I don't think is necessarily a hot take. But it definitely feels like it could be something, but it really feels like a tech demo for possibility and waiting for extra ideas to be added on top, more mechanical complexity, more evolution of your abilities across the course of the game. Like from the beginning to the end, you're doing the same thing, and the boss battles they're fine, but man, I mean, I didn't expect that much out of this, but I guess I was still kind of let down because I still do see how, as a team who continually puts a good amount of effort into things, but this game really does not feel like it has a ton of effort put into it.
I feel like I might hold this in a little bit of a higher regard than you, but I think you're completely right.
Yeah.
I really always found it weird that HAL decided to go the route of, hey, Kirby spin-offs on 3DS, what if we just took the side games and made them standalone?
Yeah.
And I think for $8, you get what you pay for, which is a slightly more robust version of, as you're saying, a very simple structure of, here are your stages, here's the concept, go have an afternoon with it.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And And to that end, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think what it ostensibly is, looking back on it now, is what if we just took the challenge roads
Mhm.
of a Forgotten Land and stitch them together as one game, because they're very short, time-based, score-based arcade stages. Now, there's
Mhm.
nowhere near as much invention in these because there are no copy builders. It all
Yeah.
is just about sucking up a certain number of enemies and shooting them back out to hit as many other enemies as you can, to
Get a
rack
high
up
score.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to that end, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But that is what it is.
Exactly.
So I think the game is fine. I think it's if its scope communicates what it's going to be and it
Mhm.
executes on that. But it just ends up sitting amongst the many other Kirby games exactly like this on 3DS.
Yeah, I think I certainly agree. We're on
Yeah.
basically on the same page. I think where I knock the game a little more, and while it is totally serviceable from a gameplay department, and I knew what I was getting going into it. The thing that let me down was the lack of presentation, and
Sure.
quite a lot like Aurora Climber is the stage select isn't this fun little Kirby world. It is a floating chessboard of blocks in the sky, and you
Yeah.
walk to a door and press A, and Kirby doesn't even have an animation like entering the door or anything. It's just you pop open a screen that has the level select,
Yeah.
and the levels themselves are just like there's no context, just blocks in the
Yeah.
sky, and why doesn't like the Kirby games usually have some sort of ridiculous, but some sort of context of why is this element here? Why does he have this ability now? Why is he meeting this character? Why is he doing this different sort of thing? But this game doesn't have any of that, and essentially just uses the Kirby veneer of Kirby can suck things in, and that's why it's a Kirby game. Like otherwise, this could be any kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it could be a fucking vacuum and whatever. But I do think that if this game had been $10 and the hub world had been a little more fleshed out, if there had been unique visual design to the levels, if there had been one or two extra gameplay things, if there had been slightly better amiibo support than you scan an amiibo and it changes the song that plays in the hub world, like this
Yeah.
game is incredibly bare bones, and it does feel like game has Kirby name on it, let's sell it. And
Sure.
otherwise, it's like, what's really the point of this? Clearly, there was not a passion for this game. They were not excited to make this game and share it with the world. It feels like it exists to fill a quota, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, no, I totally see that.
Well, that's two
Better.
more. That's two more mediocre Kirby games for me to put under my belt. Add to the fucking pile.
You've accrued quite a pile. You play a lot of Kirby games for a Kirby hater, and I have to respect that almost.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes. There's nobody who can say that you don't like Kirby because you haven't tried enough of them. Although I maintain the defense until you played Robobot. I think that should be the next hit on your list.
Yeah, no, that would certainly be a good direction to take. But also, I would love to own that game, but unfortunately, a copy of Robobot's like $50. So that's like I asked for that for my birthday or something kind of deal.
Or it's I
Nope.
just bring my 3DS to PAX type of deal.
Oh
Just
yeah.
play it on my 3DS.
I said nope. I just assumed you were gonna say something that was gonna upset me. But that's actually
That's
a
short.
fantastic solution.
Yeah, you can beat that with my toes by your face at night. Because
That would make it my favorite Kirby game.
we'll get into this more when it actually comes to be PAX time. We're gonna do tons of stuff for PAX, but we're staying in an Airbnb where there is one bed.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do the classic head to toes maneuver. So
Absolutely.
Tucker,
We're ending on a big note. Drum roll.
it's like a Star Wars time.
Oh, I'm fucking stupid. That totally slipped my mind. I was
Yes.
literally telling Rachel this morning that you were gonna talk my ear off about this fucking game. And for some reason during the recording, I forgot that it happened.
Yes. I was doing a pregnant pause and I realized it doesn't work because we're not on audio.
No.
Like Colin and Greg during PS I Love You would do pregnant pauses to trick people to checking their audio feeds, see if they're still working, and it would work for me because I'd be listening to the show while I was mowing the lawn or whatever. So I'd have to fucking stop the lawnmower, check my Spotify, and it was always still playing. They're fucking with me. But the point is, who cares? The latest Star Wars Skywalker Saga finally here.
Absolutely. Not
First thing
even
I'm
saying
gonna
this.
first thing I'm gonna say, the review of this game will be on my Star Wars show, but not for a while.
Yeah.
Andrew and I were gonna do an impressions video, but as of the time, I haven't talked to him about this as of the time of recording right now, so I should talk to him before this video goes live. But we're gonna do an impressions video now, but then that wouldn't go up until the following week, so it'll be like fucking 2 weeks after release, and we were just giving our impressions. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
There'll be a review in probably a month. But like I started Skywalker Saga, let's take a Tucker. You've already prepared. You've already prepared. You've already talked to Rachel. You already prepared yourself. So let's take a walk. Sit back, get comfortable for a moment. Tucker, the year was 2005. Lego Star Wars releases.
True.
The year is 2007, and I get a PlayStation 2. Maybe it's 2006, but I think it's 2007. I am but a kindergartner.
Yeah, probably.
And I have to wonder to myself, what kind of video games can I play on my PlayStation 2? Because Tucker, here's what you gotta understand. With my PlayStation 2, I got a copy of Ubisoft's TMNT, the tie-in video game.
Okay. Can you quickly tell me what kind of game that is? Because I've never seen gameplay of that.
It's become hazy in my memory exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure it was a 3D platformer, like a 3D action beat 'em up platformer.
Sure.
And I thought it was cool because I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But I couldn't beat the game because it was too hard for me because I'm a kindergartner.
Yeah. No,
so I'd watch my dad play some of the game. So then here we are. We're in Best Buy. I remember this. I'll remember this until I fucking shot in the back of the head. My life ends in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the Best Buy aisle, and I've done something to deserve a new game.
Unclear what, in retrospect.
Unclear. Don't remember. Doesn't matter. But we're in the aisle of Best Buy. And this is what happens, what unfolds next. We're looking at the games. My parents don't know anything about games. I don't either because I'm a kindergartner.
Yeah.
And so my dad picks up a copy of God of War, David Jaffe's God of War, and looks at the front, looks at the back. He thinks it looks cool, determined unsuitable. Here comes the Best Buy employee. What do you need? They say, we got this young man right here. He needs a new video game. Mm-hmm. What games do you have for him? Mm-hmm. They didn't have any games for me. Oh. But what the Topsom Mall Fair Crossings Shopping Plaza did have, Tucker Hazel, was a brand new GameStop.
Oh, okay. That's a better place to search for games.
So we end up in this GameStop, and we leave with 2 games. We leave with Tetris Worlds.
Oh, okay.
For my mom. And Lego Star Wars. Red Label, greatest hits.
Okay.
Lego Star Wars and PlayStation 2 for myself.
Yeah.
I come home, Tucker. At this point, it's important to know 2 facts about me. I love Star Wars, and I love Lego. So when my parents see them intertwixt on a PlayStation 2 box in a GameStop, they say, that's the one for my boy.
They're probably right. Let's be honest. Like that's a nice, hey, my parents know what I like, and they see something that combines them, and they get it for me. Like, perfect scenario. And
Tucker, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I love this video game. I play it constantly. I love Lego Star Wars. I remember distinctly one day I get a package in the mail. It's a thin package. It's from my grandmother.
Yes.
And in there is a copy of Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. Okay. And suddenly I have both Lego Star Wars games. Time passes as it happens to do often.
Yeah.
I get a Wii.
Quite frequently.
And I get the complete Saga.
Oh, okay.
Now the complete Saga, largely the same game, but there's a couple new stages, a couple new things, largely the same game. Have just as much fun. Yes.
Yes.
Have a ton of fun with it. It becomes one of the most important games of my childhood. Not only do I play by myself, but I play with my parents, my cousin. It's a staple video game. Now, Tucker, if there's one thing you know about me, it's that I still love video games and I still love Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I bought the Lego Slave 1 the other day. It's not called Boba Fett Starship. And so here I am. I play Lego games here and there. I dabble. Play a little Batman, a little Indiana Jones, a little bit of something, a little bit here, a little bit there. The Lego games all grow old. When we get into the year, I would say 2013. Lego,
An ancient year.
Lego Star Wars. No, that's not true. Lego Marvel superheroes releases, and everything changes in an instant. The old Lego formula is gone. It's about these open worlds now. It's an open world New York and these other levels. I had a used copy of my Wii U and the disc was scratched, so I never could beat it.
Because of the scratch?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But from there,
I was assuming your incompetency, frankly.
I get my palate whet by the new Lego formula. And then I think to myself, it's going to shit. These games are not nearly as good. They're too complicated. They've lost the appeal of Lego Star Wars.
Sure.
And Lego Batman 1 and Indiana Jones 1. All the hits, right? Yeah. All the hits. We're already pushing it with Lego Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. With Hogwarts. But we were fucking off to the races. We were betting on horses by the time Marvel Superheroes comes out.
Wait, so hold on. Did you like Lego Marvel Superheroes or not?
I think it's a fun game, but that was the point in which the scales had swung in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I get older.
Impression.
Yes. The games begin to travel on this path more often. My aunt remains a big Lego fan. I play some Dimensions with her. I play some Lego Jurassic Park, and I think, what the fuck happened here? TT Games makes one of these every 6 months, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're like a 6 out of 10. They make a 6 out of 10 twice a year. They make a 12 out of 10 in total. Every calendar year.
That's pretty good. That's more than 100%.
We get to the year of 2019.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 2018. Lego DC Supervillains comes out. Fuck it. Back up for a second. The year is 2016. Star Wars The Force Awakens has been out for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Then Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens releases. The game is great. It's a return to form. But it's a temporary return to form because Tucker, then we end up back in the fucking doldrums.
Okay.
We get to 2018. We get to Lego DC Super Villains. And people say it's a return to form for TT Games. And I say there's no fucking way that's true. And I play it and I say there's no fucking way that's true. I played Marvel Superheroes 2, the game's horse shit. I played DC 1 for like 3 hours. I don't even know why I bought this. I've all but given up on Lego. But then all of a sudden, as though
he's doing a little.
As though I'm putting a message into my R2 astromech unit, proclaiming, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." I proclaim, "Help me, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, you're my only hope to regain the favor of TT Games in my heart." Now they've got some advantages here. They've got the Star Wars IP that does a lot for me, Tucker. You know that does.
Yeah.
I excuse a lot of bad game design in those Dice Battlefront titles. So they said Star Wars on them. I played a lot of those games. They had 150 hours in Battlefront 1. That's not a very good game. So all of a sudden, I think it's time for the redemption. And it was. The game looks great, but then it gets delayed. Delayed from 2020. Delayed from 2021. And then here we are in 2022 and the game releases.
It does.
Finally. Years later, allegations of crunch. Concerns the game.
Many other allegations.
All kinds of allegations. But Tucker, they beat the case. Because Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is pretty cool.
But
yeah, I think I like it.
Okay. Do we want to delve in? You've spoken a lot. Of course, I've very much appreciated sharing your Lego history. The one question I do have, did you play Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars one?
Oh, that's an important chapter I missed.
Ow,
the year was 2000, I think 11, but it might have been 2010. It's the game releases in springtime. It releases around the time of my father's birthday. So I go to my mom and I say, "Hey mom, you know what Dad wants for his birthday? He wants a copy of Lego Star Wars 3 on Wii." And because my parents didn't discipline me enough, my mom said, "Yeah, that's probably what he wants." Obviously, they knew I wanted it. But for my dad's birthday, they obliged his horse shit excuse I've given.
Yeah.
And they buy a copy of Lego Star Wars 3 on Wii. And I enjoy it. Who wouldn't?
Well, I don't know. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it authoritatively.
So the point is, Tucker.
All right, I'm sitting up. I'm ready to be engaged.
There's all of this background information. I would say it's an entire web. It reminds me of Wide-Eyed Matthew McConaughey smoking, figuring out what's up with these murderers and pedophiles in True Detective. A board of that texture informs my history with the Lego series, right? That many things. I've got a whole supply, what are they called? Shipping freights full of a board.
Yeah.
Connecting things on a board. like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to a couple days ago. To what is maybe
to the moment in which your hype is probably higher than it has almost ever been in your entire life.
it is arguable that I have maybe. This is definitely in the top 5 most anticipated games I've ever gotten in my entire life.
I actually think that a discussion of the games we've been most anticipated for. That's a
Yes.
fun video. I'm gonna write that down.
I think Pokemon Y beats it.
Okay. Well, hold on, no spoilers. We'll record this video.
Okay. So the point is,
give you some more time to think about it as well.
it's that, and then a couple other Star Wars games for the most part.
Yeah.
But then I get this in my hands, but I don't, because here's where it gets fucking complicated, Tucker. I put out a tweet several weeks before the game launches that says, "Who wants to hire me to review Star Wars? I will give you good writing in exchange and a video of me doing the Boss Nass shake."
Yeah.
That's the Boss Nass shake. I get a reply from Benjamin Bolbeck, who's the reviews editor at Ninty Fresh Magazine, who says, "Abram, you can review the game. You don't have to do the Boss Nass shake." Then here's the problem. We don't get a review code.
Well, here's the problem. You didn't do the Boss Nash shake. That's why you didn't get the review code. Fucking Warner Brothers would have sent it if they'd seen that Boss Nash shake. However, it's too late. Game's out. Yes. You already bought it.
So here's the situation. I need the game right away.
Yes, you do, of course.
So I come up with an excuse in my head to justify it. Mm-hmm. If I'm reviewing the game on Switch, central to that discussion is its performance on the handheld in comparison to the consoles.
Oh!
So then all of a sudden, I finished my gymnastic routine.
Yeah.
I land, feet flat, I hold position.
You stick
10 out of 10. I stick the landing. And before I know it, I bought a copy on Xbox Series X.
Yes, you have.
And over the course of the past couple days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
yeah,
I've played a couple hours.
Oh, only a couple. Just been too busy?
I've been too busy. I have finished A New Hope.
You watched Casablanca like 20 seconds before I had to review it?
Yes. I finished Empire Strikes Back. I'm almost on the Return of the Jedi. And I think the game's pretty good.
Can I quit? I don't know almost anything about this game. I mean, I've seen the trailers, but each chapter based on an episode of the Skywalker Saga. How is there a average length for each chapter? What's the complexity like?
Yes.
Well, give me your. So
here's the situation.
Your overlay.
As I plug in my computer, because I've done the preamble, I've done the theatrics. It's time to get down to the fucking breast.
Probably more theatrics than we've ever had for any single item on any show.
Yes. But now it's time to get down to the brass tacks of the matter. Let me explain the structure a little bit to you. The game, of course, covers Phantom Menace to Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
All 9 Saga episodes. And
from the best to the best.
And there are, they're like DLC character packs for Mando and for Solo and for some of the shows. But it covers the Saga episodes, as the game implies, the title implies. The structure of the game is this. As you begin the game, you can start from either 1, 5, or 7, where the trilogies begin.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
And as you go through the events of that film story, you go to different planets on the larger Star Wars galaxy map. Mm-hmm. And ostensibly, how the game is structured is that there are 30 planets, 30 open world planets full of missions, side missions, characters to unlock, things to do. Mm-hmm. Basically, 30 full open worlds. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you unlock these as you travel the galaxy for the sake of the storylines.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so what's interesting about this game is that TT Games has chosen to, for the most part, background the actual missions that take you through the narrative of Star Wars.
Okay.
So what I mean by this is that each Saga episode will take you an hour to 2 to complete its main 5 missions.
Sure.
They're very short. And the missions are, for the most part, pretty simple. The structure is more about giving you access to these planets, giving you a reason to get to Cloud City, so then you can return to Cloud City and explore the open world, do its missions and all that.
That's not a planet.
On Bespin. But the point is the balance has been changed a little bit.
Yeah.
It's no longer really about the linear missions. They are there. I think some people are saying that, oh, the missions are completely gone. They're not, but the missions are contextualized pretty snugly within the open worlds, which are the focus.
Yeah.
And so as I've been playing, I've mainly been focusing on just getting through the Saga episodes because I want to, first of all, I haven't had a lot of time. Second of all, I want to get the characters, get more of the planets, and then I can go back and really dig into like Tatooine, go to Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
And then I will have dark side users and bounty hunters and scavengers because there's a class system in this game now, and you need those to complete the various things. So
Lego Star Wars promotes classism.
Yes. And so there's a couple of takeaways I have at this stage. First of all, it feels like we move through these movies fucking quick.
Sure. Thinking back, what would you say is the average length of time to complete the Phantom Menace story in complete Saga?
Now, I would have to imagine that it was a little bit longer because you have to remember that, first of all, the missions were definitely longer before. Mm-hmm. But the linear missions were all that those games were.
Of course.
There was a hub area, but there was a hub area that just facilitated you into linear stages.
Yes, of course.
So those were longer.
Doors.
Yes, they were longer. They were more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes find myself feeling as I'm playing like, man, you should let the story beat simmer a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like we move so quickly. Like there's a great example. One of the most iconic moments of Empire is when Han Solo and the gang are escaping the Millennium Falcon from Hoth, and they end up in that big space worm's mouth.
Yeah, of course. They
don't realize that it's a live thing that they've flown down its throat. And here, you basically only see them emerge from the throat.
Oh, like there's no segment?
There's a segment where you fly through the asteroid field, but then it ends. You're not actually in the mouth of the creature.
That in my mind, that would have been like its own little level where you're inside the mouth.
Yeah, and if I remember, there was a mission like that in the original game.
I don't know.
But
frankly, I really only remember playing missions from like episode 1 and episode 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever get any farther in this. No, that's not true. I definitely got to Return of the Jedi because the fucking Ewok stage where you're Chewbacca and you have to like swing on ropes, that shit fucked me up. I could never beat that goddamn level.
Well, that's because that actually speaks to the fact that there's a lot of jank in those old games, especially the mission segments.
Yeah.
And I think so I find myself feeling like, man, maybe we could have, even if we spent just another hour, like if we doubled the runtime of each of these and pared back those open worlds a little bit, maybe they would have felt like there's a little bit more engagement to the actual story episodes, especially because the cut scenes are so fun. The humor, I think, here is terrific. It's so wittily written. It's really great. It's a pleasure going back to the sagas through this lens. And it cuts out the horse shit of those previous games. Like the mission segments used to be garbage. They're a lot better. The vehicle segments used to be garbage. I misspoke.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Here, they're a lot better. They're a lot more engaging. They basically play like Star Fox or just any kind of arcade vehicle game, as they did actually in Force Awakens. A lot of the Force Awakens DNA in terms of the third-person shooting, in terms of the dogfighting, comes from like a Force Awakens. But what this feels like, in spite of it maybe feeling we could have spent a little more time in these episodes, they really fucking goosed up the gameplay. Like this has actually engaged gameplay. There's skill trees to unlock, classes to level up, there's cut over the shoulder third-person shooting, fucking ridiculous lightsaber combat. You've definitely seen clips of it on Twitter.
Devil May Cry style bullshit,
Yes. And the game is fucking beautiful, and it is packed with content. Mm-hmm. There are honestly easily 60, 70, 80, 90 hours of content in this game.
Wow, okay.
Like, this is, I really think, TT Games' magnum opus.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, you start from humble beginnings, you do the exact same thing for 20 years with, like, one jump in complexity being, like, I don't know, Force Awakens or like a more superheroes. Yeah. And then you just fucking track until you're like, hold on, let's take a fucking step back and let's actually just bump up the engagement. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did. And the game is a lot better for it. I think it's flawed. I do not so far. I do not agree with like the 10 out of 10s I'm seeing. Like, they have people saying
sure.
Best Star Wars game ever.
I haven't seen that many of those, but also I've been digging into the reviews. So
I was because I literally for a couple of days.
Of course you were.
Yeah, I can't think of anything other than Star Wars. Like Star Wars.
When a game that you're excited for drops, you want to know what people are talking about. The fucking review cycle for Legends Arceus and Elden Ring were my life. Those reviews dropped.
and like there are people saying this is the best Star Wars game ever.
Yeah.
I don't think in a world where Knights of the Republic and Battlefront 2 exist and things like
Yeah.
that, I don't think that's true. But I think that this is certainly a top tier Star Wars game.
Sure. Yeah.
And I do think it's possible by the time over the next couple of weeks that I complete the game,
Yeah.
that it very well could be one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound ridiculous, but the only thing I genuinely think as right now that could beat it for my game of the year is Jedi Fallen Order 2, if that actually comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think Star Wars has it locked down for me because this really is what I wanted.
Yeah.
It's what I wanted. They
So,
did it.
all right. Here's the interesting thing. I loved your theatrics. I love this whole tirade. I love the way you dwelled into this. But you didn't open saying this is game of the year. This is one of the best Star Wars games I've ever played. This is up there and could be one of my favorite games of all time. You said this is a good game.
Yeah.
There was no chutzpah about that.
Well, because here's the thing. Is Return of the Jedi a very good movie? You know?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a good movie, but it is undeniable that it is not on the technical quality of Empire, on the storytelling quality of Empire. And there's no doubt in my mind that already there have been several games released in 2022 that are far more impressive than this.
Sure, okay, yeah.
And it's undoubtable that when I look at it, I say, maybe we could spend a little bit more time in these Saga episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have gone a little bit further into the level design of these stages.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't change the fact that for me, on the most subjective level, it's what I wanted, right?
Of course, yeah.
I think that on a quality level, I'll have to see how it plays out more as I actually finish the game, but I think this is a great game. I don't think it's an excellent game.
Sure.
But for me, it is, and it's a fucking dumb cliche term, but it is just a love letter to Star Wars. That's exactly what it is.
The what? Sorry?
It's a cliche term to say it's a love letter to Star
Oh,
Wars.
love letter. I see you said level editor, and I'm like...
No, they're not love letter, but that's exactly what it is.
It's a love letter.
If you care about Star Wars, it is an encapsulation of why you care about Star Wars.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it is a mechanical reinvention of Lego.
Yes.
It is. I just don't think that a Lego game, even the best Lego game, has the teeth of the biggest open world games. Because essentially, this is an open world. This is an open world action game.
Mm-hmm. But it's a baby's first open world action game.
Yes. Now
intentionally
Lego,
so. I'm not insulting the game for that.
Right. But there's a greater degree of scalability.
You might be bald, but you are not a baby. You have played a number of games.
Well, I actually think an apt comparison is almost Fortnite in terms of mechanical depth.
We love Fortnite.
We're like Fortnite plays well to kids because it's simple, but there's a scalability there to it, not just because Lego used to be square, shoots, or presses, or swings the lightsaber, and that's it.
Automatically and hits the guy no matter what.
But now it's over the shoulder with the third person elements.
Yeah.
It's actual combos of the lightsaber.
So I just want to quickly spin off into an interesting tangent because I think you make a great point here. And I heard people this topic being brought up a lot in regards to Forgotten Land, and is how some games obviously get catered towards being the first gameplay experience for new video game players. And Kirby was that intentionally so. Masahiro Sakurai has gone on this point many times. But one thing people were saying in a little bit, not a huge knock, but a little bit knock against Forgotten Land is it's a 3D platformer that's inherently harder to grasp.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, video game technology, experience, and what's the word I'm looking for? Like being able to understand, not lexicon, but has an X in it, I'm pretty sure. People's just general understanding of video game playing. There's one specific word I can't pull out of my fucking hat. But that has changed pretty dramatically over the years to where I do think that a simple 3D platformer like Forgotten Land is just as easy for a child to comprehend as Kirby was when 2D platformers were the main thing. And this, I do think, continues that. Yes, it is more complex. Fortnite is more complex than a 2D platformer, but that doesn't mean they're not basic and easy to understand for a kid just getting into games, because that's what games are now, and being able to comprehend that is important. And I think that's an interesting trend that we don't talk about very much, of how video game complexity and understanding has increased pretty much exponentially, so even the baby's first games can be pretty complex.
Fortnite and Minecraft are most people get into games now.
Exactly.
And those are some of the most complex games out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're not playing fucking Final Fantasy Tactics, but the number of systems and the sort of spatial awareness and the sort of understanding of how to aim and move a camera around.
Yeah, exactly. The 3D camera thing is something that's interesting to me. Of course, that was a problem when Mario 64
Like old
came out.
Shiggy said.
Yeah, but guess what? It's not a problem anymore. If you put
Yeah.
a fucking controller in kids' hands, they're gonna mess around with it until they figure it out, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
But continue Lego Stars. I just want to talk about that.
Yeah, no, I think that's most of what I have to say. I end up feeling so happy that it's a beautiful celebration of Star Wars, and it's a lot of people are saying that I fell in love with Star Wars, and it's reminded me why I love Star Wars. I'm not a fucking loser, so I never fell in love with Star Wars. So
maybe I should try this game. Hold on.
So for me, it was a deepening. It was a this makes me want to go back and rewatch Empire right now type of situation, because I forget, maybe it was in the Kotaku review, somebody said it like, you can just tell that TT Games loves Star Wars because you don't get the level of craft and attention to detail in these cutscenes and these environments if you don't love Star Wars. Yeah. And because of that love, because it's just so playable and there's so much to do, and it is just fan service, but that doesn't just feel like, here's the thing, here's the thing, but we love it too. There's a difference. It's like how Astra's Playroom
absolutely
is. That can compensate the fact that some of these levels are too short, you know, or maybe I wanted that story to be present instead of just being implicit, and I remember it because I've seen Star Wars so many times I can just recount them from memory, right? So in spite of the issues, very pleased with it. They did it. TT Games did it. Stuck the landing.
I'm very interested to see how this progresses, of course, over the course of you playing it, digging into the side content, but also just over the year, if it does stay up there, or if the problems start to surface a little more in your mind, or if it's just the fact that it has the name, the SW name on it, if that carries it through the year, which of course it might. Who knows?
I mean, when it comes to film, every Star Wars movie comes out, it's my favorite movie of the year. Yes. Rise of Skywalker is probably my favorite movie of 2019.
Uncut Gems?
Not Star Wars.
That's a great fucking point. Also, it's no fucking Rise of Skywalker. I'll tell you that. All right, well, that's enough about that horse shit. We've got a couple of submissions here.
I exhausted myself.
Coming from just the people that you expect, frankly. Well, I just want to quickly say a submission coming from Sam in the Discord, whose new nickname is Dr. Michael Schmilbius, which is fun. He says he played a little bit of Skywalker Saga so far. He'll have more to say about that next time. Currently, his thoughts are that it's fun, and the combat had a little bit of Devil May Cry. But if the combat had a Devil May Cry style meter, it would be a 10 out of 10. I haven't played Devil May Cry, so I can't.
What he's saying is that when you play DMC, there is a style meter. It starts at C and goes up as you do crazier combos.
Yeah.
Basically, Shmuel's being a shithead is what he's doing.
Yeah. All right. Our first real comment comes from Avi. Of course, we got to start with him. And he says, "I've recently started Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like a Marvel movie made into a game, which is something I've dreamed of my whole life. The comedy is not overly cheesy, and the characters are so full of life. The decisions you make don't impact the overall story too much, but have an effect in the short term, which makes them feel somewhat important. I'm super excited to finish it, but I might have to wait for the Skywalker Saga. God damn it, I can't escape this game!"
I'm thinking of re-downloading Guardians to play after Star Wars. Because now it's on a console that doesn't make me angry to look at. And it's
angry of just visually seeing your PS5 in the background of your existence?
It just peeks up from behind my monitor and chides me. But no, in all honesty, I really just want to give it another shot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd have to restart it.
Absolutely. But also, that's a problem, because this game does have a relatively padded runtime. I think it would be interesting for you to maybe, I don't know, you do what you want, do what feels like it might end up being the best way for you to experience this game. But I think there are pros and cons for whatever you do going into this. If you start from where you are, you're gonna be like, what the fuck's going on? I don't remember any of this shit. A lot of the enjoyment comes from watching it progress. But also, if you restart, you're gonna have to go through the same fucking levels again, and you're gonna have to see the padded stuff. So who the fuck knows? Yeah, one of my favorite games of last year. I think Avi is right on the fucking money. It was an amazing experience for me. It's one of those games that's just quietly been on a quiet hum since it released, and people are still finding it. And obviously, it was ended to Game Pass, right? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how people are finding it now. So very glad it's still petering along.
It reminds me a lot of Dying Light, which might be a weird comparison, but it's mechanically, it's got some of its own ideas, but it's mostly like you've seen it before.
Yeah, yeah,
However, it's found like this like core audience and slow burning its way to popularity.
yeah,
So good for it. I love Guardians, the movie.
yeah.
So you know,
Next up on the
the
fucking BLB
movie,
docket.
not the second one.
I'm really excited to review both of them. I mean, especially Guardians
Yeah,
too. You know, fuck, I'm excited to review fucking everything.
but yeah, I think if I do play it again, I'm gonna restart it and I'm just gonna drop the difficulty to baby,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it's called,
sure, yeah, yeah.
because the combat is just too it's too spammy for me. It's too spammy.
Do you want to take this last one, or do you want to rest your fucking jowls?
I'll let you read it.
Okay.
Because I want to read Monkey Balls question to
Oh,
to clarify.
sure, yeah, yeah. Our last full comment of the day comes from Andrew of Andrew Rose Cove, my Star Wars show fame, whose name is Star Scourge Andrew because he beat fucking Radon. He says, I'm taking a break from the lands between, but only briefly. I was worried for a second there. I'm currently playing Triangle Strategy on Switch as I'm a devout strategy RPG player. What I love about Triangle Strategy is the unique dilemmas the game presents you with. Every other chapter or so, you must break the stalemate between your party members and decide on a course. These decisions ultimately influence which of the 4 endings you'll get, and they are never clean-cut choices. The actual gameplay is a bit grindy later on. The game does feel rewarding once you've survived a battle by the skin of your teeth through tactical advantages of height, unit placement, and cheating choke points on the field. Choke points. I don't know why I said choke.
Creating, by the way, also not cheating.
You know, comprehension. There is a huge variety of characters, and they each have distinct skills, such as one unit being able to ignore elevation, another can act twice per turn, and even one unit that can make copies of herself, etc. The story is the game's strength, however. It is very Games of Thrones-esque, and the relationships and motives are not black and white, but quite gray. It's a terrific Switch exclusive, but one I can only recommend to fans of the genre.
Games of Thrones.
Now, do you have any thoughts about Triangle Strategy? This is the one, like, Switch exclusive game that we haven't talked about at all.
No, to be honest with you. I'm happy that SRPG fans like it, but it's just like sounds so fucking complicated. I don't like, and I thought the story in Octopath Traveler was complete fucking horseshit.
Can't speak to it, never play it myself, but
and so I don't have really any interest in Triangle Strategy, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like that knows its demographic and it hit for them. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that this is an interesting return to form for Square and a genre they haven't touched in fucking generations. But it does seem very high quality. Everything he's talking about, from the complex story and making those choices and the characters having different abilities and stuff, that all does sound pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have the bandwidth or time to say, hey, this game I'm only partially interested in should be a part of my 2022 diet. But it's a game that I can see myself crossing paths with in like 15 years. You know, when I'm fucking jaded and I want to go back and re-experience some holes in the Switch library that I never got to. Like picking up, fucking digging through a trash can, because there's gonna be copies of Triangle Strategy in every corner of goddamn New York, where I'm gonna be living in 15 years, of course.
Sure.
And I'm gonna fucking pick it up and be like, hey, I might as well pop this into my decrepit old Nintendo Switch that I've had for the last 20 years. Call me in 20 years and see what happens.
Okay. Well, we'll be living. We'll be joined in marriage.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So I'll just fucking look over at you.
Yeah.
Our cooling and resent-filled marriage will only be saved by the copy of Triangle Strategy found at the bottom of a Target dumpster.
I'll be a dumpster diver in 20 years. Let me fucking tell you that. All right, you want to read the last thing and then wrap this baby up?
You said any last minute submissions, and then Monkey Balls, the budding cinephile of the Discord, says, what's it submitting for? So Monkey Balls, all I have to say to you is listen to what just happened.
Yeah.
Now you know, because we'd like you to submit. You play games.
Hold the goddamn motherfucking phone. Monkey Balls has been around since.
Has he submitted to the show before?
I don't fucking know. I forget everything that happens on the show.
Because that's the thing. So I feel like he might have. I feel like he probably has submitted. But Monkey Balls, we want you to submit a game to BLB. So I'm going to point you to this time code, and I want you to rewind a little bit and listen to what just happened. And now you know.
Now you know.
Submit next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what Guilty Gear, whatever you're playing.
Sure. Yeah. Wait. No. Yeah. Yes. All right. That's enough.
It's too much.
Oh, God! It feels bad to be back.
I like to suction cut my BLB hat to my forehead.
BLB toilet plungers. Hear me out. I got $1 million idea.
You know how the toilet plunger goes like this, but then there's like the rubber point in the middle that's the size of the hole? That can be a pogging mouth. So it's like Tucker Pog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the part that gets shoved down the hole where the shit is.